Hello Facebook, hello Instagram, hello YouTube. Good morning everybody. It is Monday the 18th or 19th? Monday the 19th. It is Monday, October 19th, 10:30 in the morning if you're watching this live. I've been trying to get on and do live for quite a while this morning, but I've been so busy cooking and doing a few things. Just want to talk about what's going on here on our Monday, upcoming week. It was an amazing weekend. Hope everybody got out to enjoy this weekend. Like it was like amazing. And today's not gonna be bad as well, just no sun, but it is warm out. I think I'm gonna go for a bike ride here, get another bike ride in. Got people tuning in now. Good morning everybody. Hello John, hello everybody else, Jennifer, hello everybody tuning in. It's Monday morning. Just drop a comment on what you did this weekend. What a beautiful weekend. Good morning Danielle. What an amazing weekend. Just drop a comment what you did this weekend. Hello Candace. I know I got out for a couple of runs, got about 15 miles in, went for a hike, picked a nice puffball mushroom that I found on one of my runs. And of course we were super busy here at the restaurant. I cooked on the line on Saturday night, jumped on the line and helped out for a while, and we were packed with to-goes. The restaurant wasn't packed itself, but between to-goes, our garden, and a few indoor tables, we were quite busy. So that was really good. Jennifer, I got out on a lake near my house. Awesome. Good morning, Barbara, who's just tuning in. Maybe just drop a comment on what you did this weekend. And again, it was an amazing weekend. I don't know if anybody saw yesterday or drove over 4455, but the roads were unfortunately mobbed with people going into the parks. I saw a video yesterday, and I guess cars were just parked all over the shoulders going up. If you go hiking, I found out since this whole thing happened, since COVID happened, ever since March, if you decide to go hiking, you've got to get into the parks early. It doesn't matter really what the weather is. I typically go up to Sam's Point on Tuesdays or Wednesdays. And 2 Wednesdays ago, or last Wednesday, just a normal old Wednesday, the weather wasn't great and whatever, place was packed. There was no, you couldn't get in. We got one of the last parking spots, and then went out there to start directing traffic and turn away cars on a Wednesday. So if you do go hiking in the state parks, just make sure you go early enough. If it's raining and yucky like that, then you can most likely get in. But what an amazing weekend we had. So yeah, so got a bunch of people tuning in still. Hi Pamela, hi Kristen. Said visited my elderly aunt and cousins in South. It's a wonderful time. Excellent. Hi Allison. Mark is on. Good morning, Mark. John up in Lake George. So every day I run outside, and I was waiting for fall to show up. I'm like, when are the leaves like really going to start popping? And within like a matter of 7 days, the leaves are gorgeous here. The mountain here, the Shawanook Ridge is just like, all the colors are out. It's really amazing. It happens just like that. Because there was a lot of green going on a week and a half ago. So the mountains, I like to say that we made fall famous. I like to say the Hudson Valley made fall famous, just because of all the amazing tree colors and what happens here in the fall time. So, Candace, we went to Brotherhood Winery on Saturday. It was a gorgeous day. Excellent. Does Brotherhood serve food? I haven't been to Brotherhood in a while. Do they serve food there? And do they have an outdoor area? I believe they do, right? An outdoor area that you can sit in. So, I believe they do. I haven't been to Brotherhood in a while. We were just at Stout Ridge, Jamie and I, a couple weeks ago on a Wednesday. Super impressed with Stout Ridge. Winery and distillery, 70 different products, 25 different wines, 45 different spirits. Really amazing. Beautiful outside space, a couple different lakes outside. They do not serve food, so you bring your own food there. So I see my buddy Jim is on. Good morning, Jim. And it's Jim's 3 hours earlier than us. So Jim is in Ellensburg, Washington. Jim's also in the restaurant industry. How was your weekend, Jim? Looks like you guys are busy. Jim's has several different restaurants out there, and there's one restaurant they just started more upscale food when he reopened. So So Candace said, yes, they have a restaurant with outdoor dining. Perfect. And that's at Brotherhood Winery. That's right. I remember the restaurant there now. Okay, yep. And across the courtyard is that restaurant. Now I remember that. That's awesome. All right. So what's going on here on Monday? So I've been in the kitchen making our braised chickpea and eggplant dish that we make every fall time. What happens is I buy eggplants at the end of the season like this, and local eggplants, local tomatoes, and I braise it with chickpeas, and we literally do several cases of eggplants, and we will package this, cryovac it airtight, and freeze these in these pouches, and we'll have this for the next 2-3 months. It's one of our vegetarian entrees, vegan entrees, plant-based entrees that we serve every single winter, fall into the winter. So that dish is coming back. If you've been, years and years ago, that dish was called Nancy's braised chickpea and eggplant. When we very first opened, I was before we opened the restaurant, I was cooking for some clients at their houses. So I would make stuff in the commercial kitchen I had at the time, and then take it to their houses, drop it off. Sometimes I'd prepare at their houses. Not much to prepare. That was easier for me to, before I even opened the restaurant, I had commercial ovens and things like that and refrigerators. So I would cook this stuff and deliver for people so they'd have meals all week. And Nancy was one of our favorites. And Nancy had MS, and she gave me a recipe for this braised chickpea dish that was just, I fell in love with instantly. When we first opened the restaurant, we called it Nancy's. Nancy, unfortunately, has since passed several years ago. But we had this dish on the menu. It was called Nancy's chickpea and eggplant, and that's what we still refer to it as Nancy's. If you remember, that dish was on our menu for many, many years, and we took a break from it. We bring it back every fall. And an approach to be more farm to table, I like to only use eggplants that are local in there and tomatoes that are local. So we wait until this time of the year. Sometimes I do a little earlier, but I make a ton of it, and I freeze it, and we have it for the next couple of months. So that dish will be around. If you're vegetarian, if you want to try something really cool, it's seasoned with some great Indian spices that we use. A lot of cumin, a lot of coriander, a lot of ginger, a little bit jalapeno. I put local poblano peppers in there, local jalapeno chilies in there, local tomatoes, local eggplant, lots of garlic, and it just sits there and braises nice and slow. So it'll braise for the next 3-4 hours on the stove top there. I have two massive pots in there, and I've been smoking brisket today. So brisket will be back. Brisket, since we reopened with COVID and everything, we haven't kept brisket on our menu consistently. We put it on our menu as a special. So we start smoking it today. Then tomorrow it goes into the sous vide. Smoke 12 hours today. It might actually go in the sous vide tonight. Then it'll go in the sous vide for 48 hours at 165 degrees. And then we have to chill it, portion it, and then re-sous vide it again to reheat it. People love our brisket. It's a 60-hour cook time. I don't know of any restaurant that does 60 hours. And every time chefs come in here that know what smoking is, know how to do barbecue and smoke, they're like, oh my gosh, we've never seen anybody do 60 hours of cook time on a brisket. No wonder why your brisket is amazing. And our brisket's grass-fed, so it's a bit leaner than the grain-fed brisket that's out there. So that extra cooking time really makes that just melt right in your mouth. And because it's on such a low temperature, it preserves any of the fat that's actually in there, as opposed to cooking it at a high temperature and the fat dripping off and draining off. It actually, the way we sous vide it in the pouch at 165 degrees, it keeps everything in there, and it's just really amazing. We use our own barbecue spice that includes a good amount of coffee in the rub, some black pepper, some cumin, some coriander, lots of garlic, lots of onion in there. So we have this whole spice blend that we formulated here when we got the smoker about 5-6 years ago. Let's see. So tonight, and if you're just tuning in, drop a comment, #live. Karen said Karen and Vinny were in last night. We saw you, Karen. Yes, Karen's coming back in tonight for our wine dinner, which I'll talk about in a few minutes. Just drop a comment on what you did this weekend. What an amazing weekend we had out there. Fantastic weekend. I'm going to go for a bike ride here after my 11 o'clock appointment. Tonight's wine dinner. We have a couple seats left. $25 a person. We're going to try to do it in the garden. We'll see how the weather holds out. If not, we'll be inside. We'll make that call later. But anyway, 4 wines and a dish for $25. We're going to do maitake mushrooms tonight. Some of the mushrooms that I've been foraging I'm not sure if I'm going to do it with a pasta or I'm gonna do it with polenta, or I'm gonna do it by itself. I'm not sure, but we have a lot of maitake mushrooms, so we're gonna take advantage of those and use those tonight. Patricia said I would love to learn about sous vide cooking. Sous vide cooking is amazing. Jim, if you're still listening, Jim, if you can drop the name of that sous vide cooker that is from, I think they're from Seattle, they're from Washington. There's a company out there that makes this sous vide that you can control it on an app on your phone. It's not commercial grade, so if you're in the restaurant industry, we don't recommend this, but it is great for home use. Great for home use. Jim is still on. So Jim, if you know the name of that sous vide company that's out of Washington, just because you're the one who told me about it, Jim, so that's why I'm asking you. Then Patrice can go on and check out that company. But you control it with an app, and I know, Jim, you've had this before. Control it with an app and turn things on, turn things off, up to temperature, whatever, from a distance. But sous vide is just a great way to, like if you've had our tikka masala chicken, that dish is sous vide. So we take the chicken thighs, we dredge them, we rub them down with garam masala, which is an Indian spice. Then we grill it, we char it, we keep it raw in the center of the chicken, and then we put it into a pouch with a tomato-based tikka masala sauce with coconut milk and all these Indian spices, and you seal it airtight. You don't need an air sealer. You can use a Ziploc bag, and you just hang it on the side of the bucket that you put the wand in, the heating element, and so we pouch it, and then we sous vide it like at 170 degrees for 4 hours. And what happens is when the juices cook out of the chicken breast, they go in the chicken thigh, they go into the sauce. And then that sauce is in there at a different pressure and opens up the molecular structure of the chicken, and then the sauce gets into the chicken. So it's a great exchange of flavors. And all that's trapped right into the pouch. And then we open up we reheat it right in the pouch in simmering water in a sous vide unit. And we just open it up and pour it right out. And people love that dish. And it's an amazing dish. So that's, and we do a couple other dishes like that too. So Jim dropped the name of it, Anova, A-N-O-V-A. Patrice, check out that company, Anova, and I'm sure that they have some demos and stuff on their website. So thanks for dropping that, Jim. Appreciate that. Now on to tonight's wine dinner. $25, 4 wines in a dish. It's a bargain, 647-3000. You can make reservations for that. Some of the wines that we're doing tonight is this Zorillo from Valdelopes. Valdelopes, I posted a on our Facebook the other day. I posted amazing vineyard in Spain, and just south of Barcelona near Pinedes. Marcello brought us through the vineyard in one of his old Jeeps, and it was like a safari for wine lovers. It was just amazing to be out in the Spanish countryside south of Barcelona, up in the mountains. The one side of the mountains, there's oyster shells, millions of oyster shells scattered on top of the mountain. That's because it used to be in the ocean. It used to be a seabed and was risen when the plates hit and rose. The other side of the mountain, literally the other side of the mountain, has no oyster shells. So he has such an interesting climate and terroir from when you drive up the one side to the other side of the mountain, all on his property. The one side of the mountain is loaded with wild herbs like fennel, thyme, loaded with wild herbs like wild rosemary. It's just, you walk out there and you can just start picking and start cooking. So Marcelo picked some herbs for us. When we got back into the tasting room to taste with them, we tasted this wine, and this is the Zorillo, which usually makes cava. This is still. This is not sparkling. This is a still wine, and we tasted the wine. And he rubbed his hands. He took some of the herbs that we had picked. He picked out there. We rubbed our hands, and we smelled the herbs and smelled the wine. And sure enough, there's so many of those herbs in the field that the influence happens through Mother Nature there, and the wine actually picks up some of those herbs like fennel and stuff. It was really, so drinking this, you can taste some of those herbs coming out. Really, really amazing to see that happen. So that's one of the wines tonight. We're doing a Lambrusco from Emilia Romagna. That's where Lambrusco's from. It's a dry Lambrusco. Lambrusco is typically not sweet. They were made sweet Lambrusco for the American market, so a lot of times Lambrusco has a bad name or just a connotation of being sweet. We drink and we have dry Lambruscos. This is a really awesome Lambrusco. Jamie and I fell in love with Lambruscos before we even went to Emilia Romagna. But when you go to a restaurant in Emilia Romagna, on the tables, this is where Modena is, this is where Parma is, this is Viola, this is that hub right there, Bologna, this is that hub of all the major food products out of Italy. When you go sit at a table in a restaurant, a lot of times, there's a bottle of water and there's a bottle of Lambrusco, and it's warm. And it's just like water. You can just sit there, pop it open, and start drinking away. So that was really cool. When Jamie and I were there, we went to what was called the Queen of Tagliatelle. She was a 90-year-old woman who was still a chef, owned her own restaurant for the last 50 years, and she was cooking. I actually have a picture of me in the kitchen with her. I went in and said hello, and literally 89 or 90 years old, she was back there slinging pots and pans, cooking lunch, and she cooked us. She basically makes one dish, tagliatelle. There was a couple dishes she made, but she's known for her bolognese sauce and tagliatelle. So they call her the Queen of Tagliatelle. We went there on a trip. We went there 3 years ago, Jamie and I. And the owner of one of the distilleries in balsamic vinegars we were at, he took us out for lunch with somebody from the consortium, from the balsamic consortium. And what an amazing, amazing day we had. And she's literally 90 years old. Her sister was the waitress on the floor, who's 75 years old. So her sister's 15 years younger than her, and she's the waitress. This lady has no children. She's not selling the restaurant. She's not leaving the restaurant. When she passes, she passes, and when she's done, she's done. The restaurant, she's had it for 50 years, and that's her legacy. And nobody is going to do what she's done, and that's just the bottom line. So that's Emilia Romagna. At some point, we'll schedule a trip to Emilia Romagna. On our VIP website right now, we actually have trips that are going out next 2 years. So you can look and see when we're going to Piedmont, when we're going to Sicily, when we're going to Veneto, when we're going to the Veneto, when we're going to the Verona area, when we're going to the Milan area. And I have people literally asking, like, I'm interested in that trip November 2022. I'm interested in the trip April 2022. People are already telling me this. I'm interested in that trip. I love Piedmont, or I want to go to Piedmont. That's a trip I want to go on. I want more information now about the trip. So we're updating the website on all the tours right now. Some of them are much more complete than others, and some of them we won't know until 6 months more. But we'll have the basics of that region, the wineries that we know, the wineries that we've been to, the wineries we trust, some of the hotels, and then the itineraries the stricter itineraries will be done better when we get closer. Right now, my main focus is Apulia and Sicily. Those are my two main focuses right now on trips. And we have a backup date. If April doesn't work, which I don't see why it wouldn't work. People are traveling. Italy is open. They have had a great tourism season. So the wineries are busy. We speak to our winery contacts all the time. They've been busy. So I don't see why we can't, but in case we can't, we have a November date set up for it. You won't lose your money if we can't travel, because the hotels know us. We have great cancellation policies, or policies where we can actually move to other dates. So you're not going to lose your money. Our last trip that we were going to, supposed to leave in 2 weeks, everybody got their money back, and or they took credit and applied it to another trip. So that's how that works. You will definitely not lose your money. One of the other wines tonight is a Cabernet Franc from the Hudson Valley. If you love Cabernet Franc, drop a comment. I love Cab Franc. I love New York Cab Franc, and I love Loire Cab Franc, and I love Cab Franc from northern Italy. Northern Italy, up in the Veneto, in that region up there, they make some amazing Cab Franc and Pinot Noir, called Pinot Nero up there. But this one's from the Hudson Valley. This is Glory Farms. Quick story on this. Not this past fall, but the fall before, I was judging the wine festival up in Red Hook, or Rhinebeck. If you've ever been to that, you know it's an amazing, amazing wine festival, Hudson Valley Food and Wine Festival. So I was one of the judges. We were also presenting too. I was one of the judges. And I sat down in the morning with our buddy Joey, who's one of the principals at a company called Massonoy Imports, which imports a lot of really awesome wines that we use on our list. So Joey and I are sitting down with another gentleman, and we get a flight of, 9, 10, 11, 12 different Cabernet Francs. And, the first thing is go through, sniff them all, and one of them popped right on us. We're like, oh, wow, this smells great. And then you go through, you taste, you look, you smell, you look at them, and then you start the tasting process, and you go through, and everything's blind, by the way. We don't know what vineyards making what. We only know that, hey, we have the Cabernet flight. Hey, next is the Riesling flight. Next is the round of Pinot Noirs or Chardonnays. So, and there's literally groups with 8 tables. So every table has 3 judges. Literally 8 tables, 9 tables. So there's literally 30 judges, 25, 30 judges, something big number like that. So we then pick one top wine out of each flight to go to the next round. But then we also, sometimes if something blows us away, we submit it for best of show. And you only really submit like all day long. You maybe submit one saying this is an outstanding wine. It's head and shoulders above the rest, and it should be up in the category of best of show. And then it goes through this next round of scrutiny for the best of shows. Then they get tasted by other judges. So we're not the only ones saying this and appointing this. It goes from level to level, and consolidation round, just like the bracketing of the final four. Things get bracketed down, and then it goes to other rounds and other judges. And we tasted it. We're like, best of show. We got to nominate this bottle for best of show, and it actually won best of show. Went through the brackets and went through all the voting and won best of show. This is Glory Farms. This is the actual vintage, the 2015. After that, I had called Doug Glory from Glory Farms, and I said, Doug, I want to come visit the vineyard. I want to see what you're doing there. And that Cabernet Franc was amazing. He goes, you know what? I said I was one of the judges. And he goes, wow, thank you very much. We were very happy with that wine. He goes, I have 3 cases or whatever of left of the 2015. I'm on to 2016. I said, no, I want the 2015, the one I helped to judge, the one that we tasted. That's the vintage I want. So I went there a couple weeks later. I actually brought a group of people there, and I bought what I could of the Cab Franc from 2015, best of show. I bought it. We have like 9 bottles left, and that's tonight. This is one of tonight's wines. This is on our wine tasting tonight, a best of show, New York State best of show for Cab Franc. And it's not only the Cab Francs. It's like if you taste the Rieslings and nothing stands out in the Rieslings, you don't nominate anything for best of show. You just rate the Rieslings by the Rieslings. So it has to be head and shoulders above the best of the rest of the wines to actually be nominated to go to a best of show. Just not because it's the best in that category. There are many categories we tasted that we didn't feel that something stood out that much better to go best of show. So that's how that works. All right. And the last one is Malanchini Fattori Liliano Estate, which is in Venice, right outside of Florence, right outside of Florence, 10 kilometers outside, 6 miles. This is one of the vineyards that we stay at when we go to Tuscany area. They're in Tuscany. They make amazing Chiantis, a super Tuscan. They make awesome olive oil. We usually spend the night there. They have a 16th century, they're housed in a 16th century Medici house, Medici estate. It was one of the summer homes for the Medici family, and the gardens, everything's just magnificent, but it's the 16th century building. And this houses the winery, and a couple years ago, they renovated the building to house villas in it. So we literally wake up in this beautiful, beautiful mountaintop vineyard, olive grove, 16th century Medici property, beautiful gardens. You wake up overlooking the Duomo of Florence. It is amazing. So this is one of our stops. So this is another award-winning wine. Violetta is a friend of ours. Jamie and I have been traveling to this vineyard on and off since 2009, so 11 years. We've hit this vineyard several times in 11 years. Whenever we go to Florence area, this is a must stop for us. Just go say hello, see what's going on up there. Just keep building relationships with all the people that we buy from. So we're doing the Chianti Florentini tonight. The Colli Florentini tonight is what's on our menu night. The good thing with New York State right now, while COVID is happening, or since COVID happened, the good thing is I can sell you any of these bottles of wine, and which we sell a lot of wine every week, and I mark these at the retail price. So, for example, you would buy this in the restaurant for $39. You can probably walk out of here for like $19 or whatever. We lower the prices much lower for takeout because we price it what a liquor store would price it, what a wine shop would price it at. So it's a very, very attractive pricing. So you can buy anything. I don't know if I'll be selling this though, the Cab Franc, because again, this vintage is gone. This vintage, has special memories. And Doug Glory actually sold the winery last year, at the beginning of the year. He wants to go on one of our trips with us. It was one of his retirement trips that he wanted to take, and we're still talking to him about that. So he may be on one of our Italy trips, Doug Bloor. I think it would be great to have a winemaker from here go with us to on a vineyard tour in Italy. I think that'd be very cool to have something like that. So Doug sold the vineyard beginning of the year before COVID hit. We knew it was in contract to end of last year, and the new owner took over this year. So Doug is gone. This vintage is gone. But it's an amazing, amazing wine, and I'm not sure if I want to part with the few bottles we'll have left after tonight. I think I might want to keep and hold on to them and open them up as special occasions. So, but other than that, all the other wines we have, this Zorillo is really interesting. Like if you want to wow somebody, a wine drinker who's knows wine, you open up a bottle of still, not sparkling, still Zorillo from Spain. And especially this vineyard with this great story this has, the Valdelopes. It's such a wow factor. And this is pretty inexpensive too. I'm not sure, we don't, what is this? 1999 to go in-house. I think it's, Michelle saying part with them, Marcus. Maybe Cheryl, I'll sell you one bottle. Maybe one. Let's see how many I have left after tonight's tasting, and then we'll take it from there. I at least need to keep a couple for myself, so we'll take it from there and see what the gap is. Zorillo is an awesome grape, awesome wine, great story. Not something you'd walk into a restaurant and say, I'll have a glass of Zorillo, right? And we have a lot of grapes here like that. We were serving Zabibo by the glass here a couple weeks ago, last month. So we really like to bring in some different varietals. So yeah, we have a Cabernet, and it's Cabernet Merlot blend. We have a Chardonnay. But then we have a Verdeca by the glass. We have other cool things by the glass that other places don't have. I say it's a general rule they don't have, just because it's easier for a restaurant to literally, behind the bar, for wines by the glass, to have a Pinot Noir, a Merlot, a Cabernet, and maybe one other one, right? And then Chardonnay, Sauvignon Blanc. It's just easier at restaurants to do that, because a lot of people walk in and say, I want a Pinot Grigio, I want a Shiraz, or I want Chardonnay. We love it when people say, oh, I don't know what that is. I say, well, let me taste you. And they're like, oh, wow, I love that. And they're taking pictures of the bottles. And we had somebody the other night order a bottle of Susuminiello. Susuminiello is a grape from Apulia, which we're going to learn all about on our trip to Apulia next April. So I actually have an 11 o'clock phone call here that I think I've got to get on here. So I'm just looking for the Zoom link in my emails. Let's see. Yeah, so let me get on that phone call here. So let me sign out of here. Everybody have an amazing day. Hope you had an amazing weekend, and hope to see you soon. If you do come to eat here, we do have outdoor dining available still. We're going to ride it out as long as we can. As long as you're willing to go outside, I think we'll be willing to serve you outside. There was one night last week that was like a little really crummy, but the table wanted to sit outside, and we said, okay, here's your menu. When you're ready to order, come in, order from us, and we'll bring your food out. In the meantime, our back door is closed, so we can't see you. If there's something you need, just pop in, and we'll be happy to take care of you. And they were more than happy with that. They were like, great, we're sitting outside. We have one of the heaters on us. It's perfectly fine. So that's what we did last week for a couple that came in, for two people that came in. So we can easily do that. Some people are still stuck on sitting outside. Now, some of the downfalls of sitting outside is your food's gonna get colder quicker. Your wine's gonna get colder. Your red wine, your white wine, you might want it to stay cold, but your red wine will get cold. Plates, because they're a great conductor of heat or cold, once that plate starts getting cold, so things get colder quicker. So that's one of the only downfalls. But nobody's complaining on that, because I think they're just happy to be outside. If you're one of those people that want to be outside based upon your comfort level, which nothing wrong with that. We can accommodate it as long as we possibly can. All right, folks, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it, and we'll talk to you later.